Hi everyone, welcome to the Business for Builders podcast. Welcome to you if you're watching this on YouTube. Look, I wanted to just quickly chat today about something that's a bit of a unique topic, or a bit of a unique point of view. We shot some podcasts on the weekend, and honestly, as you know, I mean, I would assume that most of the audience that's either watching or listening to this are general contractors or builders, and so we have got so much stuff, if you like, sort of collateral or information and systems and everything that we do. And I really tried to drive that into a 10 or 15 minute podcast. And I'll be honest with you, it just flat out didn't work. I don't come from an academic background. I didn't even graduate. And so, for me, as I did that, I was trying to deliver value and try to explain estimating systems. And I'll be honest with you, it really did bore me to tears. And I thought, well, if I feel that way, the majority of my audience will probably feel the same. So we're going to sort of maybe circle back around to those topics at some stage, break them down a little differently, maybe with less detail. And we certainly don't want to deliver anything to our audience that is not relevant. So, today, just to sort of off the back of that, where I was really deep diving into nuts and bolts and became, super sort of disillusioned with, presenting that information. Today what I really wanted to have a crack at was, going back to the basics and talking about mindset. I think it all starts with, and I've mentioned this before, it all starts with the way you think. The way you think determines the way you feel determines your actions, and obviously your actions determines your ultimate output. And so, I think there's subjects, and obviously I'm fortunate to be dealing with 6 franchised operators in Canada here. And, so that gives me a lot of, real-time experiences and things that I'm dealing with on a daily basis, right from new guys just learning how to estimate the way we estimate, learning how to do sales the way we do sales, right through to guys who are, running fast and going to do a couple of $1 million worth of sales, who have got full-time interior designers, project managers, estimators, and their own office with 3 vehicles on the road. So, I'm really fortunate to have such a diverse range of general contractors who ultimately are very different, both in age and experience. And so it's really interesting to watch the behavior. And, the thing that really keeps, what I would call the A players, separate to, let's say, the B or C players is just mindset. It's also their willingness to take a risk. We're gonna talk about disruptive behavior or disruptive innovation, and I think there's a whole bunch of things that are going through my mind right now. But really, what I want to talk about today is how that losing money can be an ROI, and we might even title this podcast. And look, what got me thinking about that is a conversation that I had with one of my GCs this week, and also I was listening to another podcast, and it's ironic how that if you're looking long term, then it is possible for you to lose a little bit in the short term and then regain that off the back of that experience and actually that period of growth that you went through. I'll tell you right now that I do more wrong than I do right. That would be a fact. The deal is I keep getting up one more time than I get knocked down. And so, I think you as a general contractor, you've got to have the mindset that says, it's not it's not what I'm going through, but it's where I'm going to. And so, we've got to have this attitude that says everything that happens to me for a reason. And so as we're building our business, and we say that so cliched, it's like, yes, I'm going to build a construction business. And then we get into some situation where we get shit on, or we do something wrong and it costs us money. And then we complain that, why does that happen to me? And honestly, this is why it all comes back to mindset. We have 5 high performance pillars. We've got mindset, management, marketing, mentoring, and business mastery. And yet we all want to jump straight to business mastery and be freaking rock stars, but none of us want to go through the grind that it takes to figure shit out, to work out whether or not we're actually got the chops for doing it. I think that really segues straight into self-awareness. You got to understand whether you do have the chops and whether you've got the ability. I'll tell you right now, there's times where I don't get to bed, until 12:30 in the morning or 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm awake at 3:30, 4 o'clock because I just can't sleep. I got stuff to do. I got people who are relying on me. And so, that's the kind of unseen, everyone thinks about the glory and, having whatever it is on your business card that you feel like gives you merit. But I think more often than not, the pain and suffering that people go through, successful business operators and entrepreneurs go through, it's unseen. And yet all we see is the accolade. And so, I think just an example to this might be just something you can take away. Obviously, I don't want to sit here and waffle on and you sort of get to the end of it and think, well, that was a waste of my 10 or 15 minutes. But I really do want to, share with something practical as well as something that's emotional that will move you and get you into a better headspace so that then you can feel good about where you're sitting, good, bad, or ugly, and then you can go out and execute. Maybe change the way you're doing things, implement something new, take another risk, anything along those lines that really moves you. So we talk about in the sales process the difference between a continuum and an advancement. And really, what we want to do in our businesses is every day we want to be advancing. We don't want to outrun our supply line, which is a strategic military principle. We want to make sure that, we understand that, yes, there's a time for advancement. There is also a time for consolidation. And the word consolidation means to make strong that which you already have. So it's important, the self-awareness thing, it's important to know where you're up to. And so the practical, something might be, I chatting with, one of our guys this week, and, there was a situation whereby, he was going to have to eat a little bit of money at the back end of a job. And we run through the scenario. I got context. I understood what was going on. And, I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm not, I didn't want to beat the guy up and say you failed. It's far from the truth. What I end up saying was I said, look, this is an investment in your education. We talked about another aspect of what happened. And I said, well, this is how you could have mitigated that. And then look at this little bit of an extra expense that you're going to have to eat as an education cost. And ultimately, I think this is why I know that when I sit general contractors down who come into the Smith & Sons group and they begin working with us as franchised operators, 4 days of training in a classroom is enough, where we run through induction and we run through a day in sales and a day in estimating and then a day in strategic planning and business development. That is enough. They just want out. But what happens is then they go out into the field and they wonder why they start getting beat up. And a lot of the time it's because they continue to do things the way that they had always done. And I've got to consistently just give them a little bit of a guidance tap on the arse and go, hey, this is what happened. Needs to be, you need to change the way your attitude towards this concept. And so, I think when we're looking at the whole, how do we lose money and gain a positive ROI out of that? Well, I simply think that the money that you've got to put down, okay, if you make profit, you do really well, high five. That is exactly the end result that you want. But the flip side is in the event that you do lose money and things don't go according to plan, then you have to, that can technically or typically will rock your positive mindset. See, everyone can, like we used to have a saying in the real estate investment market, any knucklehead can make money while the market's hot. But it takes a ninja to make money when the market is not so hot. And so, the principle is that, in business, well, you're obviously patting yourself on the back when you do make money, but what happens when you all of a sudden you take a hit? And, I think that, all the best plans that any military organization puts together are great until the minute we have engagement with the enemy. And then all of a sudden the best laid plans go out the window. And so, I think as a general contractor, we do have to have a fairly well laid plan, a good understanding of what we're doing in business. But in the event that we take a hit, in the event something goes sideways, in the event that something doesn't work out the way that we want it to work out, we must be determined to take the positive out of that and really just accept that the negative is the negative, because ultimately and overall, there is a positive effect on you, your person, and also your business. See, the thing is too, if you want to build a business of any size, it really comes down to your ability to lead. I have a saying that I use all the time. The speed of the leader determines the speed of the pack. If you are a leader that is negative, if you are a leader that loves to just wallow in his own failures, then you're dead in the water. You're not going to get any traction at all. Now, bad things happen to good people. So there's even good guys, good gals who are actually positive and so excited about what goes on, who still take a hit. They trip up. I did $1 million townhouse project, and Jace, if you're listening, it's no big deal, bud. We got over it. But my estimator forgot to include the ceramic tiles, which was a $7,000 or $8,000 deficit. I think there's all kinds of stories like that in my own personal life. We even lost it's how you respond to those negative situations. If you are below the line in your thought process, your ability to make good, rational decisions and respond to the situation positively is greatly diminished, and therefore your speed in the leadership component is going to be reduced. Momentum is hard to get and easy to lose. Just think about that for a second. Momentum is what you need in your business. When you've got momentum up in your business, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a good day, high fives, the beer's colder and tastes better. But I'm telling you, when you've not got traction, when you've not got momentum, when things aren't happening in your business, it really is, you are under duress. You are stressed now because you're not sure where the answer is. And I guess, I'm all over the place. But this is why we talk about having a coach or consultant, or having, being part of a greater group where there's collaboration, where when you're down and somebody else is up, you can actually cling on to that positivity. And I hope this podcast does something to sort of help you in your day, no matter whether you're winning or losing. Currently it is just a moment in time. And this is why too, you've got to be not getting high on your supply. You might be encouraged because you're doing things right and you're making money and your accountant's patting you on the back. But I am telling you that in business, the market can change. You can lose your best person. God forbid, something happens to you as the operator. You need to, be aware that things can change very quickly. And so just like the tide comes in and the tide goes out, so it happens in your business as well. And I think, what we do in business is we always want to head off the unpredictable, or we always want to sort of be making plans around, those blind sides, always doing the SWOT analysis, looking for our weaknesses, looking for our threats. And, so, I really want this, this session, this episode to be an encouragement and a little bit of a cautionary note. And so that losing money necessarily is a short-term loss. It doesn't need to be something that you just labor upon. You need to forget about what's in the mirrors, forget about things that have happened in the past, and you really need to focus on the good things that you've got in your life. I know that gratitude helps me all the time to sort of elevate my thought process. And when we're talking about mindset, there's no way that becoming better is all based around being negative. It just can't happen. It's oil and water. So, even when you're feeling like being negative and it makes you feel good, I think we need to drastically adjust the way we react or respond to situations that are negative, and see the silver lining and figure out how we can, turn lemon into lemonade. So that's my thought for the day, how we can lose money and turn it into an ROI positive. Look, I trust that's been an encouragement to you. And if you like what you see, we would love it if you, shared this content with someone who might enjoy it and be encouraged by it, and just move forward with absolutely slaying it in your construction business. So feel free to reach out to me. My name's Max. You can hit me up at max@businessforbuilders.ca. I would definitely get back to you in fairly good time and help you out where I can. So have a great day, guys and girls, and we will see you in the next episode.